Hi everyone, it's Melanie from jarofthread.com and I'm back with another video, a card making video. I'm not sure I will do one every Monday, but for now I'm enjoying making cards and more. I will show you at the end what I mean by that. And here I've just shown you the papers that I'm going to use. It's paper that I've had for a while that I bought for another project and that wasn't for me. So I don't dislike them, but I'm not using them because they're not my style, so I decided I would make a few cards with them. And I've cut a few strips of paper and I'm just gluing it down against each other at an angle on my front card, and that's all I'm going to do for this card. And I thought it was a very nice way of using leftover papers if you've got some of them. And what I like about this series of cards I'm going to show you in total I've made I think 6 cards and 2 Project Life cards as well, so that's quite a lot with this style. And I thought, it would. I've got a lot of friends that are as into sewing and quilting as I am, and that would be nice to send them a card that reminded me of quilting patterns. So here you can see me auditioning a few papers to see which one works. And I've got a bit of tape glue thing on my mat and it's annoying me, and that's going to happen a few times. I really need to get one of those silicone mats thing, craft mat. That I think that would help. And there's no magic, I'm just cutting random widths piece of paper in shade that work together, and that's all there is to it. It's very simple, everybody can do it. And even if you don't have any pretty pattern paper, you can always, there's plenty of people on the internet offering some for free or for sale that you can print at home that you could use for this kind of project if you fancy making a card. I used to hate the idea of making cards, if I've got to be completely honest with you. But in the last year or so, I've found that it's really nice to send a homemade card to people you love to show them that you really care about them. I think it adds a little touch of love. So I've got to say that all the cards I've sent since Christmas have been homemade, and I'm planning on making my Christmas card this year. Last year I bought store Christmas card, not this year. And that's the first card done. I will come back later to add a greeting to it, but I decided to just do the base of the cards first and then do the greetings and embellishment later. And for this one I'm just going to put strips along horizontally, nothing fancy. And I'm going to run out of glue a lot in this video, and that makes me really sad because my $2 shop doesn't have any more of those glue runner at the moment. And yeah, I need to find some more, but I don't want to pay lots and lots for it. I should really get an ATG, but they're really hard to find and really expensive here in New Zealand. So I will probably get one, but it's a $70 spend. That, if I buy that, I'm not buying anything else that month. So yeah, because you're trying to save money, and I've got plenty of stuff, so I've got a self-imposed budget, and I'm trying to stick to it, sort of. So, and that's 2 cards done, very quick. The whole video was before I sped it up, just over an hour, and I made 4 cards. There's during this hour, um, there will be extra cards that I'm going to show you at the end, and they didn't take me very long. They took me maybe 10 minutes each. So I'm making another base card. And that's when I realized that my paper is not 8.5 by 11. It's actually 8.25 by 11.5. So that's the difference between, if you were wondering, that's the difference between American letter, which is 8.5 by 11, and A4, which is 8.25 and 11.5. So it's not as convenient for card making, A4. So I've gone ahead and cut a bunch of square which are 1 by 1 inch, and I'm tracing tracing the center on this card because I want things to line up with the center, and then I'm going to trace the whole thing because I want to make sure that my square is lined up perfectly, because it's going to be the one I'm going to use to line up all the other ones. And I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm going to glue all of these, and I think I'm not sure if it's this card or the next one, but I'm going to cut. It might be the next one. Here I thought that you wanted to see me gluing a bunch of squares, obviously. It's very interesting. And I'm going to leave the bottom corner empty to put my grating for this one. I really like how it turned out. It might be my favorite of all, maybe. And this square was a little bit crooked, so I moved it. Sometimes it's a bit tough when there's only a little on the card to get the glue where it should go so that it sticks to the card. See, this one doesn't want to glue down, to stick down. And that's going to be the, no, I think there's another one. And the last one. There we are. Now I'm going to trim it all, and I'm making sure everything is glued down, so I'm burnishing it from the back. And that's 3 cards. Yay! Oh, and I'm erasing my lines. 3 cards, and the 4th one. So I've got a bunch of those squares left, and I'm cutting them down into triangles, into what we would call in quilting world a square triangle. And I'm going to glue them down like that. I will go ahead and cut a bunch more, and I've traced my center as well on this one because I needed it to line up my first few triangles. And here you go. And it's just a question of putting them in the right direction and slowly, this one I couldn't glue it down for some reason, slowly build the pattern. It's very satisfying to do this kind of card if you like patterns just as much as I do. I really like coming up with new design. They're not new, but they're new to me. I mean, everybody's done this kind of pattern in the past. And here I'm trying to think which one I want to put up there. And you can see on the side there's a little bit of a white border, and I'm going to go and trim that later when my card is finished. So it will be a little bit smaller than 4 1/4, I think this card was originally. It's going to take it down to 4, which is fine. It's 1/4 inch, not making much difference, and I've glued them all down while you weren't watching. And now I'm trimming the side. And yeah, I really like this card. I think yeah, it's very pretty. I like it. I like the sum of all the papers more than the papers by themselves, if that makes sense. Oh, and now I'm going ahead and stamping my greetings. So I'm using this Happy by Simon Says stamp, and there's something wrong with my stamp. The you can't really see here. Maybe you can. The H, the loop of the H is missing a chunk, and I find it really difficult to stamp another word with this Happy. So I'm trying different combination. So what I'm going to do, yeah, you see, I'm trying to find a way to make it work, and I decide I don't like it. So I'm trying different happy and birthday and sorts and different. That's much better. I'm much happier with that. As much as I love the very cursive looking lettering, it just didn't work when I was trying to build my greetings. This one works just. I'm not convinced. And I'm trying again with this happy. See if I can get better. And it's gonna be okay, but it's yeah. I don't think I will use it again, which is a shame because I really like the font. And that's another one I tried before. I'm going to try a thank you. It's another Simon Says stamp set that was in the March card kit, I think that was. And I'm trying another happy with happy thoughts. And I'm going to trim down my greetings. I'm going to make different kind of greetings for all those cards. I've gone and got some dies, see what works. And I went with a small one for this greeting. And the thing with my washi, I always put the washi outside of the shape I want to keep. That makes sense, because I find that once I've put it through the die cutting machine, it tends to rip the paper a little bit. Maybe I'm just very unlucky. So I did all the die cut off camera because my table moves too much if I do that on camera, and I would spare you the wobbles. And I've got those very, very tiny foam squares, and that I'm using for that. I need to get better foam type thing because that is a bit of a pain. And I'm going to cut and do the rest of the, because it took me forever to remove all the release papers. And this one, and more foam squares, because I want to put enough so that it doesn't behave weird once I sent it through the mail. So it's got to have enough to support the whole thing. And that's 2 cards finished, or just about finished. I will add, I'm trying to think with this one. And I'm going to make a banner. Up. And more foam. It's also because they're so tiny, I'm trying to use them all because I want to get rid of them. I need something a bit bigger. But that's the only one I could find at the time at my local scrapbook store. stamping scrapbook with Play Store, and I want to stamp this bonjour, but it's a bit crooked, so I've got to find a way that it doesn't look weird. I decided to stamp it in the corner like that, and now I'm going to round the corner on a few cards. With all those layers, it's a bit challenging. So that's one. And this one I'm going to struggle a bit because of the corner piece. So I'm trying to fit it through my corner rounder, and it doesn't work. I'm going to go off camera and do it. What I did was actually to remove the little bit of pattern paper, punch it, and then put the piece of pattern paper back, and um, then with my scissors I trimmed the pattern piece, and then I've shown you all the cards I made in that session and some pictures for you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you Wednesday with another Project Life video. Oh, I wanted to tell you that a couple of cards which are coming up I've made using washi tape. So that's another way of doing this style of cards. Um, if you don't have any pattern paper, you can use washi tape. Alright, see you next Wednesday. Have a nice week, everyone. Bye.